Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in today's video, we are going to be talking about 80 house tours because you guys send them to me all the time to react to them, and I watch a ton of them. And although I don't usually love to do a lot of reaction content here on YouTube because sometimes it feels a bit personal and a bit mean. Not that I think these people are watching my channel, I'm not that conceited, but it just feels a little bit mean to go after somebody online specifically. Usually I keep my critiques, which are many, to be a little bit more general rather than necessarily about a specific person. So I don't usually do a lot of react stuff, but I thought in this video I would sort of sum up my general feeling of the trends and the sort of the through line that I see with a lot of these celebrity home tours you see on AD, and critique all of them because they all sort of kind of do the same thing. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Let's get going. Oh, by the way, quick plug. I have launched a newsletter. I am launching a newsletter. This is going to be edition number 1 is going to go live very shortly in the next couple of days. If you're seeing this, feel free to sign up, totally free. I'm going to be doing a lot of the stuff I do on YouTube, Buy This, Not That's, and different trends and different design tips and things all in a newsletter going out every week. So check that out. Okay, celebrity home tours. What bugs me about them? Okay, let's start with number 1, which is so often these giant celebrity homes are done in an architectural style that does not suit the place that they're trying to build in. So what I mean by this is that people trying to build like an English Tudor mansion in the middle of Salt Lake City, Tan France. Listen, I'm just saying, I love Tan France. I do. I love the show. But that's a really good example of what I'm talking about, right? He wanted an English Tudor mansion. He built it in Salt Lake City, which is, I don't know if you knew this, but it's nowhere near England, like not even close, like not even a little bit. So the architectural style can arguably feel a little bit out of place and out of step with the neighboring community and the place that you're actually building in. Also, it doesn't necessarily make sense for the environment that you're in as well, because the weather patterns in England, I don't know if you've been, but the weather patterns are very, very different than Utah. So for that reason, you know, things that might have made sense based on the history, the culture, the community, even just down to the neighborhood of where these styles originated, don't necessarily make a ton of sense in these sort of other communities that you see in. So this is really tough. Now, I will say the reason I think it's tough is because people ultimately can do what they want. Obviously, Tan France is doing whatever he wants to do, and that works. And by the way, I digress for a second, but what am I doing here on YouTube? I'm a queer eye. Can I not share my queer eye and put it on Netflix apparently? Because I want that kind of money because I can't afford that mansion. But anyway, so yeah, I get it. You want a certain style of mansion. You want a certain architectural style that you love, but you don't necessarily want to live in the place that that style originated from. What do? Well, you want to do what you want. You love that style and you love where you live. So do a copy and paste job kind of seems like it makes a lot of sense. So I do understand why you would want to do that, especially if you're a celebrity and you got unlimited budget and designers will fall over themselves to do the work for you, and like they will make it work whatever you so choose. But I just don't know if it makes sense to take like a farmhouse from Texas but actually I want to live in California, so I'm going to put it in, you know, the Valley in Los Angeles. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't necessarily fit. I think yes, in the end you can do what you want, but the through line of so many of these architectural digest tours with celebrities is that they tend to sort of take a style, whether it's interior or the architecture, and sort of copy paste something that is from another part of the world or country, and they just transport that into a neighborhood where it doesn't really belong. And I've seen it so many times that I'm like, but why though? Do you know what I mean? Like, why not just honor the community and the place that it necessarily is from? Now, I get it. I get why you do it. I've seen this over and over again that it's starting to really bug me. Okay, next thing that I see in architectural digest tours that is worth really talking about is people talking about sustainability when their house is like 9,000 square feet. Do I need to explain this? Because we're doing it, okay? I'm at my wit's end. I have seen so many people with a nod to sustainability because they took some bench that they managed to find from an old farm and go, see, we're upcycling. So, you know, I turned that milking stool and I turned it into a chic bathroom stool. Look at me, all in the name of sustainability.
I want it to look like it's been knocked about by the weather for years.
We have a few reps that are looking around the country trying to find old buildings that have this that we can restore and potentially put on your house. So, which would be even the most authentic look you could possibly find.
And sustainable, which we always like.
Listen, let's have a conversation about it. If your house is 7,000, 10,000 square feet, 5,000 square, you don't care about sustainability. Just be honest. Just be honest with us and say, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I have the money and I'm going to do it. We can talk about that. That's a whole other conversation, but just own that. Just own that you don't care, because we are not stupid. We know that heating and cooling a 9,000 square foot home, unless it's some sort of passive home, it's not. I can tell. Like, look, no, I'm sorry. It's not sustainable. unsustainable. The amount of resources that is used to build that home, to maintain that home, just the amount of materials. There's so much energy that's being used to maintain. It's just absolutely ridiculous for us to have a conversation about sustainability when your home is that size. So I would rather you just be honest and say, yeah, my home is ginormous because I have a lot of money and I wanted a ginormous home, and that's why my family of 4 can live in 8,000 square feet. That's it, that's my reasoning. I don't need any more than that because I don't care about the planet because it's other people's problems, and apparently it's not mine because I have enough money not to face the consequences of the environmental damage that I'm causing. Just at least own that, you know what I mean? Like, let's just have a conversation that's based in reality and not one that's made up. Thank you. Okay, next up on my list. This is ruffling more feathers than I imagined when I started this video. That is going to be justifying overconsumption because you were raised working or middle class. Listen, it's part of, I think this is true in more American culture. I think you see this a lot more because this idea of the American dream has been a little bit kind of weirdly warped in my opinion, maybe just a touch, which is just this idea that you can say, I was born to humble beginnings and therefore now I've worked really hard, picked myself up by the old bootstraps here, and now that I'm a big old celeb, I've got all this money and therefore I'm going to buy that 5,000, 6,000, 9,000 square foot mansion. But don't worry guys, it's really the American dream because I was like raised sort of working class or middle class and my single mom, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we get it. You made a lot of money and like you didn't start with all the privileges that come with being a Nepo baby like the rest of half of Hollywood, but it doesn't necessarily justify what you're doing. Like again, see point 2, just own that. Just own that you've got a giant mansion because you don't really care and you can't afford it and you just want to build that mansion because you want that mansion and you have the money to do so. So, you know, start flipping the bird to everybody who dares critique you because you've just gonna own that you did what you did because you wanted to, not because you're somehow justified in it because of sort of those humble beginnings. Maybe I'm out of line here, but I'm happy for you. I genuinely like, great. That's great. You know what I mean? Like you took some risks, you took some chances, like, and you made it, and that's awesome. But I think if you're trying to justify why you have what you have, which even you on some level understand that it's either perceived, like the optics of it aren't good, or even you're a little bit uncomfortable with just how ridiculous of a home you probably built. You don't need to justify it to us, and you might need to justify it to yourself, but you're fooling yourself, to be honest. Okay, next, celebrity home thing that I'm sick of hearing about when I watch these tours. I've seen so many of these, and this one comes up in every video, and that is why these celebrities seem to love talking about where their wood came from. Specifically, like every house tour, have you guys noticed this? Has like a table or a chair or something where it's like this wood, this guitar was crafted from, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix's grandma's old bungalow or something, and we're like, number one, I don't even know if that's true.
So we purchased these 3 barns out of Wisconsin that were built by this incredible Amish community a little over 120 years ago.
This Green River Project table is made of the most beautiful wood, the scalloped edge, which I think is an incredibly beautiful touch, really evoking the water.
So this is the kitchen table. I really love this table. It's like an old kind of like farmhouse table we found.
It's a sewing box, and it was owned by the one and only Anne Margaret.
You bought that for yourself.
I did. I bought this in New York, this bathroom door, and it was in Jackie Onassis' building.
This coffee table we had made, it's just a really, really huge log, basically.
Favorite part of this room is really the wood.
Listen, I'm not saying Dakota Johnson's a liar. I'm not saying that. I think she believes that that table was Winston Churchill's yacht that has been repurposed into a table in her backyard. I believe she believes that. I don't know if I'm 100% bought in though, Dakota. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure, maybe it is, but I think someone could have lied to you. I think someone may have just said that it was an old piece of wood and said like, Winston Churchill's yacht, because that is so obscure that it's like, okay, it's kind of believable because who knows where Winston Churchill's yacht is anymore? No one can fact check you. But it's also so unbelievable that I'm like, someone totally may have made that up, right? Like, it's like when you go to a party and someone's like, yeah, they're pretending to be rich and they're like, my great grandfather like founded Pfizer. And you're like, well, I mean, that's probably not true, but maybe it is, like, or you're just lying. Like, I don't really know because I don't know the history of Pfizer. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're kind of just, you could just be making it up. Or you don't know and you're just sort of, you know, someone else made it up and you just believe them. Every tour seems to have some sort of wood that has been reclaimed. Now, I will say this, the sentiment of having things in your home that have meaning and that have sort of a history to them and you're able to tell a bit of a story, that's great and that's fun. But every single tour has some sort of wood that has been taken from somewhere around the world that is attached to some sort of dead celebrity. That is kind of a fact at this point. I've seen this so many times and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Just say, you know, I bought this at Crate and Barrel and just be done with it. We're done with that. Okay, my last one is just sort of a really just general commentary, and that is, well, this is our fault, dear viewer. This is you and me. It's our fault for doing this. And that is that AD really only featuring homes now that, I mean, they do feature a lot of homes, but really they feature heavily the homes of celebrities. And this is just honestly a tie-in to the celebrity culture that we live in, and how AD, which is of course part of Condé Nast, right? Massive company, Bon Appetit, blah, blah, blah. Like they've got all these different publications. They're very good at what they do. But I feel like there was a time when Architectural Digest featured a lot of obscure homes by amazing architects and interior designers that, you know, were just beautiful and stunning and great, and we got to tour them, but they didn't necessarily, there wasn't always a celebrity or now even a celebrity designer that was attached to them. And I just kind of miss those days, you know? Like I know they still do that a little bit, but I just see smaller YouTube channels that are not AD. Like I'm gonna give a shout out to Local Project, which they do a lot of work in like Australia, but they do like homes kind of all around the world. They've done a few in Canada as well, in the US, and they deal with an architect who you've never heard of probably, and they walk through the home and they do a lot of slow pan shots. I recommend watching it at 1.5 speed because otherwise, I mean, it gets a little slow, I'm not gonna lie. Local Project, I love you, but like, let's move it along. You know what I mean? Like, yes, my videos, you're like, Nick, but aren't you a guy who talks for 25 minutes about IKEA? Yes, I am, but I don't think you can deny that I keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like I'm always talking. These tours are slow, but they're beautiful, and they feature homes that are different and unique and special, and I kind of love that about them, and they're really the stuff that is pushing the envelope. AD is sort of just really stuck, I feel like, in this same clickbaity world that the rest of us are in, which is that every article or every whatever, in order to get your click, has to have some sort of celebrity attached in. It's got to be Wiz Khalifa's house, or it's got to be Chrissy Teigen's house, or it's got to be Dakota Johnson's house, or it's got to be, what's that Maud Apatow's house, which just went live like earlier. You know what I mean? Like it's got to have some sort of celebrity tie-in in order to get you to click. And so I guess that's on us. We've created a monster in AD, and we're clicking on these celebrity tours. And all I'm saying is yeah, I'm kind of a little bit tired of the celebrity aspect of the celebrity house tour. I just would rather just not see how, I don't know, Macaulay Culkin lives, and I would rather just know an architect who's pushing the envelope in design and see what they're up to. Because I'm sure Macaulay Culkin's got great taste, but like, do I need to see where he lives? No. So that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that video. Listen, AD house tours, we keep watching them. They're interesting. We keep watching the celebs because we just can't help ourselves, I get, to see how the rich people live. But like, these are the through lines that I've seen in almost every video, and I'm just tired of them, and that's why I wanted to make a video about it. It was not personal to any specific celebrity or home tour at all, but just sort of a general trend that I've seen in all of them. And yeah, I don't know. That's my feeling on celeb. Do you watch AD? Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.